Yo, what's going on YouTube family? It's your man Jeremy Doodoo here, and in this video I want to share my philosophy for what good design is in practice. I'm not going to show you guys a bunch of different concepts on what I think good design looks like, but I do want to have this higher level conversation for how good design is practiced in the world. So I think that design doesn't just pertain to product design, but I feel like religions are designed, art is designed, people are designed, society is designed. So when I think about design in general, I look at it from that lens, right? Not just about how do I design this application, but design involves every aspects of our lives, even our family dynamics, right? And one thing that I have had conversations around as of late with my colleagues is how can we help more black and brown people get into the industry. And one thing that we all notice is that design history is looked at from a very Eurocentric lens. And what I mean by that is that if you try to study what modern design stems from, you'll find a lot of information on the Bauhaus movement, or you'll find information on Swiss designers, right? And you can actually find these people's names. I think that if you are a person of color, you might feel excluded from those conversations or that history, right? So anytime somebody is trying to look for what they can do in the future, a lot of us look at what was done in the past, right? And I had one roommate back in the day who mentioned to me that he would never start a business because only 1% of black Americans have a business. And I think that the sad reality is that me hearing that from him is just me looking at the surface level of how many people feel this way in the world. More people are becoming interested about product design and getting into the industry. But if you are reading information and you see that people who look like you are excluded from that history, it might make you feel a certain way. And subconsciously, you might feel like you don't belong in that industry because you don't see anybody like yourself there. And that's one of the reasons I got motivated to start this channel, right? So you see that there are black UX designers out there, and we do share our perspectives with the world, and we bring value to the world. But anyways, one thing that really inspired me growing up was me visiting temples in Mexico and in Central America with my mom, because she's from Belize, and me looking at these temples and being like, yo, how did they even build and construct these ruins, like, and if you think about it, nobody understands how those temples were made, right? Like, you see those rocks and they were moved from like 20 miles away, and they're like a ton, that they weigh a ton, but how did they move that stuff? Nobody knows to this day, even with modern technology. And I think that that's greatness. And over the thousands of years, with all the hurricanes and earthquakes, these buildings are still standing, right? And we got buildings today with modern technology where the building only lasts like 30 years. I remember visiting these temples and looking at the rooms and being inspired by the art that the Mayans and the Aztecs created. And they would use herbs and different plants to create the colors that they wanted to create the art that they made, right? I think just that is amazing. The textiles that were created, that's amazing. The ceramics that were made, I'm inspired by that stuff. Just even talking about it, it lights me up. So my reference point for what good design looks like is the stuff that I saw as a young person growing up. And I think that for many different cultures who aren't a part of that European ancestry, you have to look toward the change makers in your community and in your background that made it get as far as where your culture is today, right? And we might not know individuals' names, but we could look at these temples. We could look at like the first university in the world was created in Mali, right? I think that studying that kind of stuff, and there was a Native American whose name is Sequoia, who built out a whole alphabet system. And all that stuff really inspires me, man. So when I think about what I'm inspired by, and you know, where I see myself going, I see that there are limitless possibilities because the people who came before me, from my lands, from my ancestry, right? They did amazing things. So even though I don't know individual names, I always try to look towards those things that I'm inspired by. And I also look towards people in my community today. Right? I grew up in South LA. Folks like Nipsey Hussle, who built community centers, who are educating, where people are getting educated on technology and how to start a business, that inspires me. So I just say all this to say that if you are looking at the history of modern day design and you don't see anybody who looks like yourself, look at your background, look at your history, look into your community, and look for those change makers that are pushing ideas that you really gravitate towards. Because I think that good design and practice, if you think about it, a phone helps you communicate, it helps you look for information, and I think that when it comes to good designers, they help empower you to see the possibilities and the limitation, and look past the limitations that you might have in your own mind. So yeah, guys, I hope that this video helps you in some way. I hope that it inspires you. But I think that in order to decolonize design, we just have to push our own perspectives, because not everybody looks at it from the same lens. Good design can come in many shapes and forms. I think that if there's a designer in your community or who you really get inspired by that's not specifically involved with product design, comment about their names and their histories down below. I'm always curious to understand what people are inspired by. So yeah, share that in the comments below. But yeah, guys, I hope that you're doing well. Stay blessed, stay safe. I love y'all. See y'all in the next video. Peace.